Where did I say Bitcoin could go? I said it could go to 30,500. What was the high yesterday? 30,500 and change. What are we doing today? We're holding basically flat on Bitcoin. This to me is the groundbreaking level. All right. So what I mean by groundbreaking level, and this is a very important concept, groundbreaking level is this is the Great Wall of China. This is the brick wall that has, that's 10 feet wide, whatever you want to call it. This level is a psychological major level. In addition, I saw someone mentioning it in the comments as well, is that keep in mind, the rally on Bitcoin has been on light volume lately. That's a concern. What that tells me is it's not big money buying.
InTheMoneyStocks.com's chief market strategists and popular technical analysts, Gareth Soloway, has revised his estimates for the value of Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, and Matic, among other prominent cryptocurrencies. Markets rallied sharply after the March U.S. inflation data was released, with Bitcoin continuing to trade above the critical $30,000 mark. Soloway had previously broadcast that a rise above this level could signal the start of a new bull market for the leading cryptocurrency asset. Since Bitcoin hit $65,000 in 2021, Soloway has been consistently bearish on the cryptocurrency. When most experts predicted Bitcoin would rocket to $100,000, Soloway predicted it would fall to the low $20,000s. Then Soloway went on to explain how the macro uncertainty and general economic meltdown were eventually going to permeate the crypto ecosystem and cause prices to plummet dramatically.
You got to get into the CPI data. The CPI data is the major factor of the day. It's driving price action this morning. The S&P futures initially popped sharply to the upside. We saw Bitcoin even pop a little bit, although hasn't taken out yesterday's highs yet. We're going to discuss that, as well as gold's price action here in the near term, oil, natural gas, you name it. We're going to cover it today. But first, let's get into the CPI data. All right. Take a look at the CPI data. What we basically see here is that consumer prices climbed 5% at an annual 5% pace in March. What does that mean? Well, that was actually a little bit better than expected. All right. So that's a little bit better. All right. The consumer price index increased 0.1% in March, according to the Labor Department, compared to 0.4% in February. All right. So again, what that's telling us is that inflation is slowing. The only negative to this report today, folks, was if you strip out food and energy, inflation actually increased. All right. It upticked. An annual growth rate pace ticked up from 5.5% to just 5.6%. So there was one little negative in that report that has me on slight amount of alert today. And again, here you have the 5.6% right here, which is where the number came in. And again, the market was expecting a 5.5% clip on inflation. Now, again, overall, I think this report was a slight positive. We are seeing the S&P futures rally to the upside. But for the most part, really what we want to do is we want to go into the charts and see what the charts are telling us. Let's take a look at Bitcoin and look at this, guys. If you were here last week, we talked about this channel, this consolidation range. Where did I say Bitcoin could go? I said it could go to 30,500. What was the high yesterday? 30,500 and change. What are we doing today? We're holding basically flat on Bitcoin. All right, you guys know, if you know, I shorted some Bitcoin via buying BITI yesterday, nibbled a little bit on that, so far up on that trade. We're going to watch to see. This to me is the groundbreaking level. Not big money buying. You have to be aware of that. And that's something that, again, gets my attention as well. So again, we should know over the next few days, maybe over the next 5 to 7 days, do we get above this level? Do we hold? In that case, then the low is in. All right. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to go bullish and buy Bitcoin. That's ridiculous. You would never buy and chase a move like this. What it means is if you get a confirmed bottom in on Bitcoin at 15,700, then on pullbacks, you start to buy more aggressively. At supports, you buy more aggressively. And that's the technique that, again, has made me the millions of dollars that I have made and I continue to make on a monthly, yearly basis in these markets, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, whether it's commodities. Some of you guys asking, is it still priced in that Bitcoin could still go down to the 12 to 13,000 target, maybe even 9,000? The answer is, as long as we don't confirm and hold above 30,000, this 30,500 level right in this vicinity, the answer is yes. So again, that is still on the table. If we were to confirm and stay above there, then you have a different scenario where likely the 15.7 level, 15.6 level is a low pivot on the charts. XRP, to me, short-term resistance, and I think you would agree with me, short-term resistance was hit around 55 cents, 56 cents. You had that pivot top going back to September of 2022. It's pulled back. The only thing I have a little concern about is you're making a little bit of a bearish flag consolidation pattern over the last week or two. So again, doesn't mean there's a lot of downside. There's a lot of support around 47 cents, but it could have a little bit of a dip here, which also makes sense if we did see a pullback in some of these cryptos like a Bitcoin, Ethereum, then you could also see that as a possibility. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum, again, continues to struggle here. Same thing, even though Bitcoin recently took out its highs, Ethereum has not, so it is a little bit under pressure. Remember, you do have that fork, I think it's called the Shanghai fork coming up, and that could be creating a little bit of stress on some of those players out there unwilling to commit ahead of that fork in case, and this, by the way, this happens a lot with forks, is that people are nervous that something could go wrong, and so they usually step back. So you're going to lose a few buyers going into that event, which could explain why Ethereum is struggling just a little bit. I can take a look at Solana real quick here. I see a couple people asking for Solana. Solana did have a breakout above this wedge pattern. I did talk about that in my verified investing crypto analysis just last night. The question here is, how high does it have? Short-term resistance right around 24 where it is, and then you have a lot of resistance coming up. So if you're someone who's in Solana, watch this level. This is going to be your mega level right here. See these pivot tops? That's right around $26.70. That is going to be a major, major level. All right. Now, if we look at Matic, and again, these are all ones I cover in my daily videos that I post on Verified Investing Crypto, but Matic is not looking good, guys. All right. I don't know what's going on here, but the mere fact that it hasn't been able to get a bid when we've seen a lot, even Solana's gotten a bid now, that's problematic. It's just holding on to this trend line. If it breaks, there's not a lot of downside before it hits support, but that would be someone there as well. All right. Let me see what else we have here. The dollar, guys. So this is why the markets rallied, and now this is why the markets are giving it back. So number one, if we look at the intraday chart, look at this. All right, look at the drop in the dollar on the intraday 10-minute chart when that data came out. All right, why did it come? Why did the dollar drop? Well, the concept here is super simple. If inflation is dropping, then it means the Fed has to hike less. That means it potentially can even cut rates in the future. That's weak for the US dollar. Okay? So again, that's the key on why it dropped. Now, why is it rallying up? Now, notice that the markets rallied when the dollar dropped, and now the markets are pulling back a little bit when the dollar's rallying. So it's the dollar's getting a bounce. Number one, it was a big sell, so you generally get a technical bounce. Number two, just like I said, remember, if you look behind the curtains, there, the CPI data actually upticked if you strip out core stuff, which is food and energy. So there's still some little signs of kind of higher inflation in the system when you remove that food and energy from the calculation. Basically, to summarize here, I am looking to short into this rally. Okay, so essentially this bounce is a great bounce pre-market, but looking to short, I'll look to pick up some individual swing trade shorts on the back of this. I know that's counterintuitive to a lot of you guys. So many people out there are hook, line, and sinker, bull market back in crypto, bull market back in stocks, bull market back every which way. I'm here to bring some sanity to the otherwise insane world and tell you that that is not the case. It's not the case because of this mere fact. All right, the bottom line is we already know earnings are going to drop. If you look at the valuations on a Microsoft, on an Apple, they are trading at ridiculous valuations. Those two stocks alone make up a huge chunk of the S&P 500. That's going to bring valuations down. We already heard last month. In fact, we just had a downgrade on Microsoft. I believe it was yesterday, based on their Azure growth. All right, so again, these things like that are going to bring the market back in. In addition, I still have it priced in that we're going to see a second half recession.
A few hours after Soloway's broadcast on Wednesday, work began and was finished on Shanghai Hartford. At 10:27 Universal Time Coordinated, the long-awaited upgrade began, and it was completed 15 minutes later. Users who stake Ether to secure and validate blockchain transactions can now withdraw their funds. As of a half hour after the upgrade went live, 285 withdrawals totaling about 5413 Ether had been processed, according to reports. Withdrawals are lower than many experts had predicted, though. Several analysts had predicted that the Shanghai and Capella upgrades would be a major sell the news moment, sending the price of Ether tumbling prior to the upgrades. quite the opposite has occurred. At the time of writing, the leading altcoin had risen by over 5%, to a price of $2,123, its highest level in 8 months. It's unclear how quickly stake Ether holders will invest in the platform now that they'll have access to stake tokens in the coming weeks. What do you make of Soloway's forecasts for the growth of the leading cryptocurrencies and the US economy as a whole? Leave your thoughts and feedback in the space provided. Thank you for watching Market Empire. We hope you found this video informative and exciting in understanding Gareth Soloway's bullish prediction for Bitcoin's price. If you have any questions or would like to learn more about finance and investing, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on our latest content. And as always, stay smart and stay ahead of the game.